Good morning, everyone. I'm Kendall Tyson, owner of Aspire Counseling and Wellness Center, and I'm coming to you again on another beautiful Saturday for Storytime Saturday. And this theme this week is going to be very much aligned with encouragement, finding role models, and learning how to use your gifts and your strengths to be able to overcome adversities that others may perceive to be problematic. So it's really just about cultural acceptance and knowing that you have power, limitless power, no matter what anybody else says. So I'm going to start. I love these books, first of all. And today I'm going to read Dream Big Little One by Vashti Harrison. I bought a larger version of this book for my niece because I just really want her to be able to see that there are other women in the world that look like you that have lent their gifts and their talents to make this world a better place. And so, in the climate that we're currently experiencing, it's really important that we communicate to our children that they have so much to give to the world, and that what's happening now, hopefully, it won't always be this way. So, dream big, little one. I love these books. Dream big, little one. There's so much you can do. Just look at all the leaders who came before you. Reach for the stars like May, Bessie, and Catherine. Mae Jemison went all the way to space. I think I learned about her in high school. I was amazed. Bessie Coleman flew her airplane high. Katherine Johnson helped send a man to the moon. We've recently learned about her and other Black women figures in the movie Hidden Figures. Be bold, like Josephine, Shirley, and Maya. Josephine Baker was a singer, a dancer, and a spy. Bet you didn't know that. Shirley Chisholm ran for president. And you can one day too. Maya Angelou used her voice every way she could. Go the distance, like Wilma, Raven, and Florence. Wilma Rudolph couldn't walk but learned to run. She's an amazing person to research. Raven Wilkinson danced all around the world. Florence Joyner was the fastest woman of all time. Flojo was everything. Like, when I was in middle school, I loved Flojo. Find your stage, like Ella, Nina, Oprah, Gwen, and Michelle. Ella Fitzgerald was the first lady of jazz. Nina Simone had a style of her own. I love Nina Simone. Oprah Winfrey shined her light on others. She paved the way for a lot of people. Gwen Ifill reported the truth. And Nichelle Nichols trekked through the stars on TV. I think that was Uhura from Star Trek. Express your creativity like Alma, Augusta, Octavia, and Julie. Alma Woodsey Thomas painted her whole life and became a star at 80. So that should let you know you're never too old to accomplish your goals. Augusta Savage sculpted toys when she had none. Octavia E. Butler created magical words. Julie Dash shared untold stories in the movie she made. So, young ladies, wherever you go, whatever you do, be bold and dream big. The world is waiting for you. Love it. And this is Dream Big, Little One by Vashti Harrison. I found this at Target. It was pretty inexpensive. It's a great book to add to your collection. So, with that being done, I kind of want to address some things that have been happening in the world today. As a Black woman that has really unearthed some uncomfortable experiences that I've had as a child growing up as well. So my first statement is to our kiddos. And there's a lot going on. You may not completely understand what's happening in this world, but just know that it sometimes has taken us to come together to protest injustice, to uplift one another, to be able to affect positive change. And I just want you to know that a lot of that starts with one person. You don't have to be a mass of people to make a positive difference in the world. Acts of kindness can change the world that people live in on a daily basis. So for our kids, there are 3 things that I want you to remember. You are worthy, just because. And I don't want anyone, even if someone tells you that you're not, I need you to firmly understand that you are worthy of the best that the world has to offer you. You have so much to give to the world. Number 2, you are special, gifted, and you have the power to inspire others. Inspiration doesn't have to come from big acts that the world notices. Inspiration can come in the small, continuous things that you do for other people every day. My mother used to always tell me that whether you know it or not, there's somebody that's watching you. So make sure that you're behaving with integrity and that you are being the best version of yourself on a daily basis, right? And lastly is that you are not alone. You have support, no matter what you're going through, no matter what you may experience at school or with your friends, there's always someone around that's willing to listen to you, to hear you, and to support you in whatever it is that you may be experiencing. As a professional school counselor and a licensed therapist, I see often that our students don't necessarily have the outlets that they need to be able to communicate how they feel. So adults, it's incumbent upon us to make these spaces and create these spaces where they feel that they can show up genuinely and authentically as themselves and help them and guide them through making the best decisions for their life and their path. So there's an exercise that I want to encourage you to do. This is something that I've had kids do before, is with this book. Is there anyone in the world that you believe to be a role model that you could, emulate? Someone that would help you just by looking at them and seeing the way they live their lives, the things they've been able to do. How can you use this person as a role model for you to kind of shape the way that you choose to do things? So I would say identify who that person is. For me right now, it would certainly be forever First Lady Michelle Obama. I love her. I would want you to research what has this individual contributed to society that you deem to be an amazing thing, right? And again, it doesn't have to be something that is newsworthy or, just the biggest thing. It could be something that I would consider to be minute that you believe to be very big, right? This is from your own perspective. And not necessarily one of your parents or your friends, but for you, to kind of get you to learn yourself a little bit better. Why did you choose this person? What are the characteristics that you know of and that you see that you are drawn to that you would like to emulate? Is this person kind? Are they generous? Are they ambitious? Are they inspiring? Do they write books? Are they an artist? Are they a photographer? Do they come from the same town as you? What is it about this person? Do they have drive? Are they tenacious? That the characteristics that you would definitely want to be able to improve in yourself that would help you to further the growth that you want to make. And how can you utilize this individual as a role model to help you, again, increase certain areas in your life? Can they inspire you to be more brave? How can they motivate you to continue to press forward when you're afraid? What can this person do to inspire you, to help you impact the lives of other people. We all have a gift. We all have a reason to be here, and we definitely want to use these gifts to be able to improve the lives of others. And so I'll move from that to just a few tips that I want to offer for parents. Being Black parents, Indigenous parents, or other people of color, we know that there are certain conversations that it's incumbent upon us to have with our children. And you want to do that at a developmentally appropriate time. But you are their first teacher. So getting the right and accurate information from you first is going to be very important. So after doing some research, I know, but I also learned that, well, I'll just use my experience. My mother and father from a very young age, taught us about Black history. Like, I love all things to do with African American studies. That was almost my minor, an additional minor at the University of Texas at Austin. So I grew up with this strong sense of identity in who I am, my culture, the advancements that people in my culture have given to this world. So research states that when your children have a strong ethnic identity, it's assigned with, or it's associated with them having better achievement, and like a better sense of pride, a stronger sense of pride, which is going to inoculate them, hopefully, against the deleterious effects of racism, which at some point we know that they're going to experience. So it's, again, extremely important that we have these conversations often and early with our kids, and you can gauge their readiness for some of the conversations, but the big thing is not to not say something, right? Again, we want you to be the teacher that they learn the information from. So when parents do take the time to have these important conversations with their kids, some of the research also says that children are more respectful of other ethnic minority groups when they are provided this information about their own racial and ethnic identity, right? It builds empathy for others, and that's definitely something that I think we need to work in increasing, is the empathy between and within cultures. Another is our kids tend to have a better understanding and appreciation of their own racial and ethnic group when we have these conversations early and often. There's so much that our kids don't know. I mean, I've learned things just by reading this little book and doing research about other, influential Black people. And so the more that you know, I would imagine the more pride that you're going to have in your own cultural identity. And that doesn't take away from anybody else's, but it just improves and strengthens yours, which is, what we're trying to do. We're trying to enhance our own level of understanding and awareness. And lastly, when you have these conversations surrounding race and ethnicity with your kids, it helps them to recognize and respond more appropriately when they are faced with racism and discrimination, which we know at some point in their lives they will. We just don't know when or how early it would be. And I say this all the time. You want to create a welcoming environment for your kids to have conversations with you. There was a friend of mine that was posting on Facebook about some of the microaggressions and racist statements and situations that she's encountered from a young age. And it just really brought me back to some of my own personal experiences in middle school, in elementary, in high school, and beyond, that sometimes I felt powerless to be able to handle. But being that my parents have always been a strong and firm presence in my life, I had an outlet for some, to come and speak to. We had ways to talk about and brainstorm how to best handle these particular situations, because we never want to allow our kids to feel, powerless. They have power. It may not look like what we once have done, but they have power. So we have to instill in them the strength of person and culture and identity to know that no matter what anyone says, you know who you are, you know whose you are, right? So it's important to have these conversations again, often and early. And I'll just give the parents just a few tips on what you can do, right? The most important thing, and I think I've said this already, is that you listen to your kids. Let them share how they feel. Let them share what's going on in their lives, their thoughts and their feelings surrounding race. Our kids are poignant. They are intelligent. They are observative. They are engaged, right? And so we know that a lot of movements were started when people were young. So let's teach them how to channel that energy that they have into positive and constructive ways of making change. But making sure that you're listening to them and providing them that space and that outlet is going to go a long way to them feeling secure enough to handle the situations that they're experiencing. Another one is recognize your own attitude surrounding race. Our kids learn by example. So, and we know that racism and hatred are taught. Our children aren't born racist. It's what they see, it's what they hear, it's what is modeled to them, either knowingly or unknowingly. So, with that said, make sure that you are monitoring your words, your attitudes surrounding, other racial and ethnic groups, and the prejudices that we all have. Because our kids pick up on it. They're like little sponges. They soak it all up. So what do you want them to absorb? Do you want them to absorb hate and derision for others? Or do you want them to absorb love, respect, self-respect? That way they can pass on that and empathy to other people, right? Again, you are their role model. And as I said, monitor reactions, your emotions, your words. You want to also monitor what healthy coping looks like. If you've been in a situation where you're challenged, about your ethnicity or whatever it is that you may experience, because again, we experience microaggressions on a daily basis, and it can be very stressful and challenging. So, modeling how do you help in a healthy manner cope with the anger, the frustration, the exhaustion of yet again an experience that you don't deserve to go through, but you are unfortunately having to go through, is going to teach them by example what it looks like, how to handle yourself in the most effective and appropriate manner when faced with race. And we know that it's not fair, some of the things that we deal with, and we could literally just be existing for being the people that we are. But we have to give our kids the tools to be able to manage their emotions and their thoughts and their feelings when they are faced with something. Because we know that eventually they will be. So we want to equip them as best as we possibly can. Also, using different realia, movies, games, books, like this is pretty much why I started the whole Storytime Saturday, so that they can see what it looks like to work through different situations. It provides them a more accessible way of understanding complex ideas, and it helps them to conceptualize and empathize with other people outside of themselves, and then we can generalize that to their own life. So it's important that they see that there are people that have made wonderful strides in this world that look just like you, and you can very well do the same, if not more. But we just have to take the time to educate them. Be honest. You want to share with them some of the things maybe that you've experienced, and you want to make sure that it's appropriate for, the age and the level that they are as far as understanding. Our kids, again, are highly intelligent. I was watching the news, and there was this little girl protesting, and I was just like, ooh, she was so powerful. So that lets me know that they get it. We have to give them the opportunity to engage with what's happening. We plant those seeds, and we never know what that grows up to be. We never know the fruit that is going to be born out of what's happening right now. So we definitely want to provide as positive a space as possible, when we're modeling and exposing them to these things. And again, also giving them that space to debrief and share and better ways in which to cope with the intense and overwhelming emotions that come with everything that's happening right now. And lastly, I'll just say, We're dealing as people of color, as Black people, Indigenous people of color. We've experienced a collective, racial trauma over the years, a generational trauma, and that's down to our DNA level, and it can be a lot. So if you're noticing that you as a parent are struggling, or if you notice that your child is really having a rough time, seek professional help. There are so many talented and gifted therapists, Black therapists, other therapists of color that are equipped to help you handle and cope with the racial trauma or any other type of experience that you may have that is impacting your mental health and impacting your quality of life. So I definitely say reach out for a professional if you feel that it's becoming to be too much. And if you feel like you don't necessarily have the tools to assist your child in what it is they may be impacted by, there's no shame in seeking help. My role is to help destigmatize mental health and mental illness in the Black community and other communities of color. So I'm going to leave you with that. Again, my name is Kendall Tyson, the owner and founder of Aspire Counseling Wellness Center. Please check me out on my website, aspirecounselingwell.com, my YouTube channel with the same name. My IG is at aspire_counselingwell, and you can check me out on Facebook. I will, like I always do, every other Saturday, do a Storytime Saturday for the kiddos. And please be on the lookout for more postings on social media. And I will soon be accepting mental health clients. So if you're looking for a therapist, I will be there to serve you. Thank you, everyone, and have an amazing Saturday.